Hey everybody, just waiting for Thomas Barr from Local First. Local First. We'll get started here in a second. And thank you for joining everybody. Hey Thomas,
Hey Mark, how are you?
how are you?
I'm good.
I'm going to pull this out. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just
Great.
fine.
Great. I've got you as well. Hey, thank you. And thank you everybody for tuning in today. I I know everybody, we're really living through some really tough times, and we've got a healthcare and an economic crisis on our hands. And I want to first say thank you to the folks on the front lines of this. And what I mean by that are all the healthcare workers out there, the doctors, the nurses, the hospital administration people, folks working in nursing homes. They're making some enormous sacrifices. And they're doing this for all of us. They're taking care of those who are sick. So we all want to thank them. But today, we are here to talk about the impact that this has had on Arizona small businesses and on their employees. And the impact has been significant. Now, Arizona workers and business owners, they've taken some serious steps to contain the spread of COVID-19. And because of that, we really have to have their backs. So I'm joined today by Thomas Barr, the Executive Director of Local First, to talk about the effect that the coronavirus is having on small businesses and the challenges that small business owners are facing here in the state of Arizona. So thank you, Thomas. Thanks for being with us today. And first, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then also tell us a little bit about Local First Arizona. And then I've got several questions for you that I think that'll help individuals navigate this challenging time. So over to you, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Mark. Really just privileged to be here to have a conversation about what small businesses are actually experiencing in Arizona right now. So myself, I'm actually an Arizona native, born and raised actually in Glendale, Arizona. Have lived in Tempe, Arizona the last 15 years, and my passion involves working for the economic justice for small businesses, in particularly in Arizona, which drew me to my work with Local First. I've been with Local First Arizona for 7 years, and we've been an organization for 17. We're actually the largest coalition of locally owned businesses in North America. So we represent over 3,000 businesses across Arizona that are all headquartered in our state. And as you could imagine, in particularly right now, struggling to stay afloat and survive and get access to the resources that are needed. We know at Local First, and we've spread the message for 17 years, that small businesses are the backbone of our economy, that an economy does not function unless we have a strong ecosystem of locally owned businesses thriving. So what we do is we provide education, resources, and as loud of a voice as possible for the needs that small businesses have, which is ever so prevalent in these current times.
Well, thank you, Thomas. As you know, you represent 3,000 small businesses. There are 550,000 small businesses here in our state. A lot of them are really struggling. So why don't you start off by letting viewers know what the impact of the coronavirus has been on small businesses?
Yeah, to put it into as simple words as I possibly can, it's been completely devastating and heartbreaking. Overnight, we have seen businesses that are healthy, with steady foot traffic, with solid cash flow and income, see upwards. The honestly, the average rate of decrease in business that I'm hearing on a day-to-day basis is between 75 to 100% of decrease in sales. And these aren't just restaurants. Yes, these are restaurants who cannot right now have people going out to them. These are salons. These are carpet cleaning companies who people don't feel safe having people coming into their homes, and so they've lost all business right now. These are painters. These are stylists. These are hair cutters. These are mechanics. You name a local business and it has lost business right now. So what the challenges that they're facing are is figuring out how they can function in a time that is really unprecedented, and they don't really know what the next steps are going to be. They're functioning in a time where they hope that they can get back out, and we hope that we can get back into a functioning economy again, where they can be operating their businesses, because most of these businesses are small and just wanting to provide for their families. But there's a lot of unknowns. There's the unknown $1 million question of when can we get back out into the community again? And the conversations that we're having with them is you need to be planning further down the line. You need to not be looking at May 1st. You need to be looking potentially at July or September, because if you're planning further ahead, you're going to be more well prepared in case this lasts longer than we're currently kind of looking at based off of the numbers that are coming from some of our elected officials right now. And so there's still some worry. I'd say there's a bit less panic in the small business community right now, but there's an incredible amount, just to be completely transparent, there's an incredible amount of frustration. Small businesses need support. We have to believe that you can't be too small to fail. You have to have cash assistance. You have to have resource assistance. You have to have the right information coming in. And we're seeing a lot of frustrations. And so as Local First, we're trying to help deliver the right information. We're trying to help deliver the right resources so that those small businesses can have a lifeline right now while they struggle.
As somebody who has started a small business myself, I realize the challenges under good circumstances of getting a business started, and then how do you get it to a point where it's sustainable and doing well. And this situation that we're facing is completely outside of the control of these small business owners. So I want you to go through the process that a small business owner might be thinking about in whether to apply for a small business loan through the government under the PPP program. I suspect you've been hearing from some small business owners about this, whether they should take a loan from the SBA, or in some cases, as I've spoken to small business owners, they've already furloughed or laid off employees. So have you been hearing anything from these business owners about that decision process?
Absolutely. And every business is going to be a little different. And so we're trying to guide them to apply for the assistance that makes the most sense for them. The Paycheck Protection Program really is built as what we've seen so far with businesses that have at least a decent payroll or have had one, so that they can start planning to rehiring their workforce back. But as this was being rolled out, and as it was rolled out so swiftly and quickly, there was again a lot of panic among the small business community about whether or not they'd be eligible, whether or not they'd be able to even apply with their own bank, whether or not banks were accepting new accounts or credit unions were accepting new members. So we saw an incredible amount of community banks in Arizona, our local banks and credit unions, stand up and provide resources and a lifeline to a lot of businesses that were being turned down by a lot of the big banks, which is a huge problem. But right now, small businesses are in a waiting game. If they've applied for the PPP, some of them are just kind of waiting to hear back. If they've been approved, they're waiting for the funds. A lot of businesses that have applied for the emergency injury disaster loan that was made available last month, a lot of them are still waiting to hear back. I actually heard from my first member of Local First Arizona today that they heard back 2 days ago about their loan being processed. So we're kind of in a period of waiting. For the most part, most businesses are aware of what they can apply for. They've attempted to apply what they think they are eligible for. And unfortunately, there's some businesses that have been a bit left behind, that have needed cash faster, that have had to close their doors, and those still hanging on. We're looking for city and state and private support to be able to get cash in their hands as soon as possible. So there's been several funds that have started in order to help those businesses. The city of Phoenix, with the Industrial Development Authority, just announced a new fund today that will grant businesses in Phoenix in low-income census tracts up to $10,000 in grants if they apply. And Local First Arizona started a small business relief fund 2 weeks ago to help provide mini grants to micro businesses with less than 3 employees. We've deployed already about $300,000 out into the small business community so that those very small businesses can at least afford to feed their families and keep food on the table during these difficult times.
And Thomas, how about for folks that don't have all the information or feel like they need to find accurate and timely information? What's the best place for them to go right now to get that?
Yeah, there's several places. Local First Arizona can be one of those for you. So we will provide direct connections and support to certified public accountants if you have questions about going through the SBA loan process. Representative Congressman Stanton put together a great webinar about going through the SBA loan process that a lot of small businesses have benefited from that we're sharing. And Local First right now is offering consulting services to all of our members. So maybe you don't know how to navigate the systems or what may apply to you. You can reach out to us, get set up with a consulting session. We'll set up an assessment phone call with you and then direct you to the right people, the right resources. That could look like legal support. It could look like accounting support, human resources, business coaching, marketing and PR. We just really want to be here as a lifeline. So we don't do it all, but we can connect you to a lot of different resources out there that exist. Just want small businesses to know that they're not alone out there. This is a difficult time. It's a stressful time. And we want to be able to provide everything that we possibly can.
So my wife Gabby and I, we live here in Tucson, and we're trying to support local businesses right now. And there's certain things that we're doing. But for the viewers out there, what are some recommended methods right now where individuals and families can be helping local small businesses in this time when we're all pretty much staying at home?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's something I think it's critically important we all consider every single day. And the picture I like to paint is, I have a local bagel shop down the street from my house. It's called Back East Bagels, small local independent shop. And I know when I walk in, every time I see a few plaques of some t-ball teams and some soccer teams that I know the owner has supported in the past, and stood up for, because small businesses have always looked out for us, right? When we've needed them to support the t-ball team, when we've needed them to provide space or catering or whatever, they've always stood up for us. And so I think it's important that as a community and as consumers and everyday people, that it's now our opportunity to stand up for them. We need to show up for small businesses in every single way possible so that they can be here tomorrow when we go to rebuild the economy. So maybe it is getting some bagels one morning. Maybe it's getting some coffee from a local coffee shop, ordering takeout from your favorite restaurant, not canceling your membership to the Desert Botanical Garden or the Tucson Botanical Garden or the Phoenix Zoo or the Reed Park Zoo, keeping those open. Looking at maybe it's your hairstylist or your salon and buying now and using a voucher later for them. You can think of every way that you would be spending money in a regular economy if this didn't happen, and think about those businesses that aren't getting your money right now. And if you have the means, do everything that you can to support them.
Well, thank you. That's a great message, Thomas. I really appreciate having you with us today. And it is so important that we keep these 550,000 Arizonan small businesses going to get us through this period of time. Our country is really good at solving hard problems. We're going to get through this. We're going to listen to the science and the data and the facts. We're going to navigate our way through this crisis. But I really want to thank you and Local First for helping so many individuals out there. And when you help small businesses, you're helping families, you're helping kids. It trickles down through the entire economy. And we're going to learn a lot from this, and we're going to be stronger because of it. So thank you for being here. And everybody out there, do whatever you can to help small businesses because it is really so important to the economy here in Arizona. And thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Mark.